Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Juju Show, episode 35, coming at you from springtime. I hope you guys are all having some good spring. I'm excited that the trees are budding up and like the weather's nice. I'm going to go for a ride after this show today. Get out of here. But in the meantime, I think this is our biggest panel of community members. Actually, this could be a problem. I am officially the canonical person outnumbered by the community people. I'm very afraid for what's going to go down on the show today. So let's start with Eric. You want to introduce yourself? Hello, how you doing?
Thank you. Well, I'm from Sweden. I'm the technical manager of the HPC systems at Scania, who's a big truck company. And we're currently looking into Juju and doing some charming, mainly around Slurm, which is going to be excited to hear. Hopefully hear something about today.
Cool. So HPC, that's like big computer stuff, right?
Yeah, it's typically large installations, a lot of servers, and running InfiniBand and cool networking, a lot of storage.
Expensive toys. I see. So this is not stuff my phone will do. All right, and y'all will recognize Beatty. Beatty, you're back in action. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Glad to join the show today.
Are you moving out or something? You like your moving box full with cords overflowing the edge there? Like they shipping you to a new corner of the office over there?
Should have chose a better spot.
Putting you in the storage shed. Get to work, Beatty.
Board bins.
Yeah. And Sandor, back again. How you doing? We're actually going to talk about Sandor today. Ha ha ha.
I'm doing good. You told me I had to be here this time, so I figured I'd show up.
I didn't say you had to. I enjoy your company, so that's all. All right, so let's dive in on the community news. So since the last show 2 weeks ago, we almost. I know that there are folks building a new 2.4 beta 2 today, and I thought it might beat the show, but it has not. So I am victorious. I have won. The show is out first. So anyways, but what that means is be on the lookout for a new beta 2 with some bug fixes. Of particular interest will be folks that use containers with Bionic. This is like the 2.4 release is the one to get your Bionic on, which is the new LTS. Everyone see the next one's named out. We have Cosmic Cuttlefish. I love Cuttlefish, so I'm like excited about this one. Like it's finally like an animal that I know and love. Anyway, but yeah, so once that hits, we want to start. We're hopeful this is the last beta before RC. I mean, we're hopeful. We'll see. But in order to help find that out, we need everyone to start banging on it and prove me wrong. I dare you. I challenge you to prove that this beta is not ready for RC once it comes out and you play with it and try it out. In the meantime, that is the news from there. So community news, though. Let's see. To play with that, use the snaps. The snaps are awesome. Snap and install Juju-Edge, or if you already have Juju installed stable, you can refresh to the Edge snap by using snap refresh Juju-Edge, and you can switch back and forth. So you know what? Friday, give 2.4 a try for the day. Throw it in the CI system. Just go into your little CI system and throw a little. Get your Juju from the Edge snap instead of the stable one, and do all my test pass or whatnot. Like, give it a shot on a Friday, and then when you're done, switch back. It's nice and fast and easy. Snaps are good for stuff like that. So try it out. Speaking of news, Sandor, you emailed the mailing list today with a really cool blog post around expanding your Ceph cluster in a sane, non-crazy person way, and lots of Juju goodness baked in there. So I was rather happy to see this.
Yeah, we got a bunch of load of Supermicro servers at work, so we kind of need to get them in our existing cluster.
How big is the cluster, can I ask? Come on, we like to.
I think right now we got 20 Supermicro nodes, 32 bays, and we got 10 more coming for this one. So we got to expand a bit more. So it takes a while, but we'll get there.
I was going to say, yeah, a little bit to spread that data back out and replicate everything.
Yeah, the whole backfilling thing kind of takes a while, and then if you got customers during the week, you kind of need to plan it a bit when you want to do that.
Well, the post hit the mailing list today, so check that out. I'll have a link in the show notes, so make sure to give it a read. It's got some good info, and what I really love is that perfect example of trying to get the the operations beyond just installing something, but like maintaining it over time, baked into Juju and kind of encouraging the best practices and having all the right knobs you need and everything. So it's that good kind of good stuff. All right. And honestly, that's most of the news because I was actually out all last week because the teams were out in Berlin doing a planning sprint. You know what happens at the end of a next cycle, right? Or at the end of one cycle, right? Oh, I gave you a hint. You have to plan for the next one, right? So those cycles, they come every 6 months. Or yeah, 6 months. That sounds right. Evidently, I've not adjusted the time zones yet. But we were out there and plotting out, and what I wanted to do was to talk a little bit about some of the goody stuff that we want to kind of do in Juju and basically get you all really excited about stuff we don't have yet, but that I look forward to showing you in the near future. In particular, there's a couple main lines of work that I really want to highlight. One is that we're going to continue with the CAS work with the containers where we can have charms that run on Kubernetes so that we can deploy kind of, Kubernetes, you have all nice little containers and they're all nice and scheduled and spread out. But what they don't really have a good story for is how those things interconnect. And Juju, as a modeling layer above the application, is a great place for that. So we're going to kind of continue that. There's some soft launchy bits, we call it, in 2.4 for this. So if you really wanted to go look, you could probably find some documentation. You could probably learn how to add a Kubernetes cloud with your Juju. And there might even be charm or two out there in GitHub. It's not in the store yet because there's a lot of work to enable these kind of charms in the store through search all the way through down to working. There's some bits that need to be finished up before it can be final. So I know this next cycle we're going to work on storage support so that using the Juju storage user experience, you'll be able to get persistent volumes and things set up in your Kubernetes for your running containers and stuff like that. So some of those things that can be a little bit pain in the butt, hacky YAML. Juju, we're hoping will wrap that rather nicely and give you some good things on that. So that's something to look forward to if you're in that world and interested. Some more bundle improvements. There was a chunk of good work from last cycle around mapping existing machines and stuff. And there's some more things we can do to make bundles more interesting and kind of do more for you. So look for some of that. And I know I'm excited around some of the LexD related stuff. So how many folks have played with LexD 3.0? Anyone? Oh, look at that. See, I love it when you get these good folks in here. They're all like, I've played with it. Cool. Well, then y'all can show me how to use this thing. So the reason I'm excited, why is my window?
I love the init process on 3.0. When you run LexD init, it seems you can just tell they put a lot of work into smoothing those bits over and making the initialization process nice and smooth for both networking and storage. And it looks like MAS now as well, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, no more the big kind of annoying prompt, set up your network and stuff. Easy command lines, get going.
Is there some kind of seed? I mean, I know that... gosh, we could just run the config commands, but I wonder, I think what I'm trying to do is get my own little init in place that will configure LexD without running LexD. Configure it how I want without
there is. The very last question at the end of LexD init is, do you want to create a pre-seed file?
Exactly.
And that pre-seed file is a YAML dump of all the config stuff you just set, and you can tweak it. And so what I wanted to show, except Google will not let me share my terminal window. So I'm going to have to go entire screen and ask everyone's forgiveness because that's not working well. Can anyone see my terminal?
It is black.
It is black. Black's not helpful. It needs to be less black. Oh, this is not good. I tell you what, let me try.
Enter a few times and then we can see the cursor maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was trying that. I did that. Let me close all terminals and see if something happened in the window manager. And it just didn't pick up or something. Let's see. No, see, when I go to share my screen, I only get my browser tabs and none of my none of the terminal bits. So, well, this demo is off to just failure. All right. I'll tell you what. You guys talk for a minute about your favorite stuff in LexD3, and I'm going to see if I restart Chrome, if I can get it, which is awful, but it's the best thing I've got, and otherwise the show's going to be over without any fun.
So were you trying to demo the pre-seed in some way? Or is that
No, I was going to show something else. One sec. I'll be right back.
I can let you know what we've been trying on version 3. It's one of our biggest challenges has been to enable deep learning containerized for LexD, mainly because GPU sharing hasn't been working very well with LexD up until 3.0, where we actually tried it out. So we successfully managed to run deep learning with TensorFlow and TensorBoard through LexD on a shared GPU session. That was very interesting for our part.
Did that just work out of the box with the 3.0, or there was a lot of fun tweaking to get there?
It was actually working out of the box.
Isn't there some new and GPU config as well that's included in 3.0 that just allows you to pass the device through, as well as I don't want to say because I don't really know, but I thought I saw config.
But still, we tried it. We tried it to do this prior to 3.0, and that was a big thing. But after 3.0, we just basically came through it, and that containers, and in the context of deep learning, is such an important feature because everyone doing deep learning has such a complex software stack. So it becomes more or less impossible to maintain any particular runtime environment. So LexD is really saving a lot of work there for that sort of workload. Really impressive. Whereas Docker, for example, being the primary target for this sort of workload, isn't really, you lose too much. There's too much you lose in terms of performance and stuff like that for containers doing Docker. So that's why LexD has become a really interesting technology for the HPC domain targeting deep learning.
Nice. Can you guys see my terminal window now?
Yeah.
All right. I just had to switch machines, and I apologize. I'm sure
Your mic is a bit low, though.
my bike is low. All right. We can fix that because I can move it closer.
There we go.
How's that? That's better.
Better.
All righty. So what I wanted to show was this. I need pseudo, I think. See, cluster this. You guys seen clustering with LexD 3.0? Notice that I have, from my MAS, I have 3 different NUCs at different addresses, and they are online and operational. And when you watch what I just got going before the thing here is, if I list, I create a couple of containers, just let them get auto created. But notice down here at the end, notice where they're at. They are on different NUCs. It will automatically find yourself a home. So let me see if I can. Oh, shoot. All right, let's see. LXC launch Ubuntu Bionic. I think is what I did, right? There, I'm just going to create a third one.
So the different nodes in the cluster do like basically just mitigate the scheduling between the different nodes.
How do you mean mitigate the scheduling between the nodes?
Well, like how do they choose?
So LexD is making the choice for me. You can specify a target. There's some commands to get like a ID basically for each node, and you can say like create launch on this node.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What am I supposed to tell me? My screen's not the primary. All right. That means I didn't click on myself, so that when you talk, I don't see you. How about that? Anyway, so now I got another one. Let's go see where it ended up. So notice that it balanced them out. So I've got 3, and it put 1 on each of my cluster nodes. Now, to set this up, when you run LexD init, you'll notice that the very first question is, would you like to use clustering? Now, what you do is you go to one machine and you set up the clustering. And what I really want to do is highlight. There's a great blog post on Insights that walks you through setting this up for the first time and playing with it and kind of seeing it. That's at insights.canonical.com. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Maybe I'll show you here in a minute. But what's cool is that now basically you have a single LXD cluster acting as one. And since this is the Juju Show, the thing I'm really excited about for this next cycle that we want to do is enable you to point Juju at it as if it were a cloud. So you could totally see having clusters of hardware, of just random hardware. In this case, I've got 3 NUCs and MAS, right? That I can basically